Cantos 16 to 18 of Book 4 of the Ramayana of Valmiki, translated by Ralph D. Griffith. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Om123. Canto 16. The Fall of Bali. Thus Tara, with the starry eyes, her counsel gave with burning sighs. But Bali, by her prayers unmoved, spawned her advice, and thus reproved. How may this insult, scathe and scorn, by me, dear love, be tamely borne? My brother, yea, my foe, comes nigh, and dares me forth with shout and cry. Lorn trembler, that the valiant, they, who yield no step in battle fray, will die 1,000 deaths, but never an unavenged dishonour bear. Nor, O my love, be thou dismayed, though Rama lends Sugriva aid, for one so pure and duteous, one who loves the right, all sin will shun. Release me from thy soft embrace, and with thy dames thy steps retrace. Enough already, O mine own, of love and sweet devotion shown. Drive all thy fear and doubt away. I seek Sugriva in the fray, his boisterous race and pride to steal, and tame the foe I would not kill. My fury, armed with brandished trees, shall strike Sugriva to his knees, nor shall the humbled foe withstand the blows of my avenging hand. When, nerved by rage and pride, I beat the traitor down beneath my feet, thou, love, hast lent thine own sweet aid, and all thy tender care displayed. Now by my life, by these who yearn to serve thee well, I pray thee turn. But for a while, dear dame, I go, to come triumphant over the foe. Thus Bali spake in gentlest tone, soft arms about his neck were thrown. Then round her lord the lady went, with sad steps slow and reverent. She stood in solemn guise to bless, with prayers for safety and success. Then with her train her chamber sought, by grief and racking fear distraught. With serpents panting fierce and fast, King Bali from the city passed. His glance, as each quick breath he drew, around to find a foe he threw, and saw, where fierce Sugriva showed, his form with golden hues that glowed, and as a fire resplendent stayed, to meet his foe in arms arrayed. When Bali, long-armed chieftain, found Sugriva stationed on the ground, impelled by warlike rays he braced his warrior garb about his waist, and with his mighty arm raised high, rushed at Sugriva with a cry. But when Sugriva, fierce and bold, saw Bali with his chain of gold, his arm he heaved, his hand he closed, and face to face his foe opposed. To him, whose eyes with fury shone, in charge impetuous rushing on, skilled in each warlike art and plan, Bali with hasty words began. My ponderous hand to fight addressed, with fingers clenched and arm compressed, shall on thy death-doomed brow descend, and crashing down thy life shall end. He spoke, and wild with rage and pride, the fierce Sugriva thus replied, Thus let my arm begin the strife, and from thy body crush the life. Then Bali, wounded and enraged, with furious blows the battle waged. Sugriva seemed, with bloodstreams dyed, a hill with fountains in his side. But, with his native force unspent, a saltry from the earth he rent, and like the bolt of Indra smote on Bali's head and chest and throat. Bruised by the blows he could not shield, half vanquished Bali sank and reeled, as sinks a vessel with her freight, borne down by overwhelming weight. Swift as Suparna's swiftest flight, in awful strength they rush to fight. So might the sun and moon on high encountering battle in the sky. Fierce and more fierce, as fought the foes, the furious rage of combat rose. They warred with feet and arms and knees, with nails and stones and boughs and trees, and blows descending fast as rain dyed each dark form with crimson stain, while like two thunder clouds they met, with battle cry and shout and tread. Then Rama saw Sugriva quail, marked his worn strength grow weak and fail, saw how he turned his wistful eye to every quarter of the sky. His friend's defeat he could not brook, bent on his shaft an eager look, then bound to slay the conquering foe, and laid his arrow on the bow. As to on orb the bow he drew, forth from the string the arrow flew, like fate's tremendous discus hurled by Yama forth to end the world. So loud the din that every bird the bowstrings clenched with terror hard, and wildly fled the affrighted deer, as though the day of doom were near. So, deadly as the serpent's fang, forth from the string the arrow sprang. Like the red lightning's flash and flame, it flew unerring to its aim, and, hissing murder through the air, pierced Bali's breast and quivered there. Struck by the shaft that flew so well, the mighty banner reeled and fell, as outward Indra's flag they pull, when Ashwini's fair moon is full. Canto 17. Bali's Speech. Like some proud tree before the blast, brave Bali to the ground was cast, where prostrate in the dust he rolled, clad in the sheen of glistening gold, as when uptorn the standard lies of the great God who rules the skies. When low upon the earth was laid the Lord whom banner tribes obeyed, dark as a moonless sky no more his land her joyous aspect wore. Though low in dust and mire was rolled the form of Bali lofty-souled, still life and valor, might and grace, clung to their well-loved dwelling place. That golden chain with rich gems set, the choicest gift of Sakra, yet preserved his life nor let decay steal strength and beauty's light away. Still from that chain divinely wrought, his dusky form a glory caught, as a dark cloud when day is done, made splendid by the dying sun. As fell the hero, crushed in fight, there beamed afar a triple light, from limbs, from chain, from shaft that drank his lifeblood as the warrior sank. The never-failing shaft impelled by the great bow which Rama held, brought bliss supreme and lit the way to Brahma's worlds which never decay. Rama and Lakshman nearer drew, the mighty fallen foe to view. Mahendra's son, the brave and bold, the monarch with his chain of gold, with lustrous face and tawny eyes, broad chest, and arms of wondrous size. Like Lord Mahendra fierce in fight, or Vishnu's never-conquered might, now fallen like a yati sent from heaven, his store of merit spent. Like the bright flame that pales and dies, like the great sun who fires the skies, doomed in the general doom to fall, when time shall end and ruin all. The wounded Bali, when he saw Rama and Lakshman nearer draw, keen words to Raghu's son impressed, with justice holy stamp addressed. What fame from one thou hast not slain, in front of battle canst thou gain, whose secret hand has laid me low, when madly fighting with my foe? From every tongue thy glory rings, a scion of a line of kings, true to thy vows, of noblest race, with every gentle gift and grace, whose tender heart for woe can feel, and joy in every creature's weal, whose breast with high ambition swells, knows duty's claim, and never rebels. They praise thy valor, passion's root, thy firmness, self-restraint, and truth, thy hand prepared for sin's control, all virtues of a princely soul. I thought of all these gifts of thine, and glories of an ancient line. I set my Tara's tears at naught. I met Sugriva, and we fought. O Rama, till this fatal morn, I held that thou wouldst surely scorn to strike me as I fought my foe, and thought not of a stranger's blow. But now thine evil heart is shown, a yawning well with grass overgrown. Thou wearest virtue's badge, but guile, and meanest sin thy soul defile. I took thee not for treacherous fire, a sinner clad in saint's attire, nor deemed thou idly wouldst profess the show and garb of righteousness. In fenced town, in open land, never hast thou suffered at this hand, nor canst of proud contempt complain. Then wherefore is the guiltless slain? My harmless life in woods I lead, on forest fruits and roots I feed. My foeman in the field I sought, and never with thee, O Rama, fought. Upon thy limbs, O king, I see the raiment of a devotee, and how can one like thee, who springs from a proud line of ancient kings, beneath fair virtue's mask, disgrace his lineage by a deed so base? From Raghu is thy long descent, for duteous deeds preeminent. Why, sinner clad in saintly dress, roamest thou through the wilderness? Truth, valor, justice, free from spot, the hand that gives and grudges not, the might that strikes the sinner down, these bring a prince his best renown. Here in the woods, O king, we live, on roots and fruit which branches give. Thus nature framed our harmless race, thou art man, supreme in place. Silver and gold and land provoke the fierce attack, the robber stroke. Canst thou desire this wild retreat, the berries and the fruit we eat? It is not for mighty kings to tread the flowery path by pleasure led. Theirs be the arm that crushes sin, theirs the soft grace to war and win, the steadfast will that guides the state, wise favour to the good and great. And for all time are kings renowned, who blend these arts and never confound. But thou art weak and swift to ire, unstable, slave of each desire. Thou tramplest duty in the dust, and in thy bow is all thy trust. Thou carest not for noble gain, and treatest virtue with disdain, while every sense its captive draws, to follow pleasure's changing laws. I wronged thee not in word or deed, but by thy deadly dart I bleed. What wilt thou, mid the virtuous, say, to pass thy lusting stain away? All these, O king, must sink to hell, the regicide, the infidel. He who in blood and slaughter joys, a Brahmin or a cow destroys, untimely weds, in law's despite, scorning an elder brother's right, who dares his teacher's bed ascend, the miser, spy, and treacherous friend. These impious wretches, one and all, must to the hell of sinners fall. My skin the holy may not wear, useless to thee my bones and hair, nor may my slaughtered body be the food of devotees like thee. These five-toed things a man may slay, and feed upon the fallen prey. The male rhinoceros may die, and with the hare his food supply. Iguanas he may kill and eat, with porcupine and tortoise meat. But all the wise account it sin to touch my bones and hair and skin. My flesh they may not eat, and I, a useless prey, O Rama, die. In vain my Tara reasoned well, on dull deaf ears her counsel fell. I scorned her words, though sooth and sweet, and hither rushed my fate to meet. Ah, for the land thou rulest, she, finds no protection, Lord, from thee, neglected like some noble dame, by a vile husband dead to shame. Mean-hearted coward, false and vile, whose cruel soul delights in guile, could Dasarat, noblest king, beget so mean and base a thing? Alas, an elephant in form of Rama, in a maddening storm of passion casting to the ground the god of law that clipped him round. Too wildly passionate to feel the prick of duty's guiding steel, has charged me unawares, and dead I fall beneath his murderous tread. How, stained with this, my base defeat, how wilt thou dare, where good men meet, to speak, when every tongue will blame, with keen reproach, this deed of shame? Such hero strength and valour shown upon the innocent alone, thou hast not proved in manly strife on him who robbed thee of thy wife. Hadst thou but fought in open field, and met me boldly unconcealed, this day had been thy fate to fall, slain by this hand, to Yama's hall. In vain I strove, and struck by thee, fell by a hand I could not see. Thus bites a snake, for sins of yore, a sleeping man who wakes no more. Sugriva's foeman thou hast killed, and thus his heart's desire fulfilled. But Rama, hadst thou sought me first, and told the hope thy soul has nursed, that very day had I restored the mighty lady to her lord, and binding Ravan with a chain, had laid him at thy feet unslain. Yea, where she sunk in deepest hell, or whelmed beneath the ocean's swell, I would have followed on her track, and brought the rescued lady back. As Hayagriva once set free from hell the wide Aswatari, that when my spirit wings its flight, Sugriva reign is just and right. But most unjust, O king, that I, slain by thy treacherous hand, should lie. Be still, my heart, this oddly state is darkly ruled by sovereign fate. The realm is lost and won, defy thy questioners with apt reply. Canto 18. Rama's Reply. He ceased, and Rama's heart was stirred at every keen reproach he heard. There Bali lay, a dim dark sun, his course of light and glory run, or like the bed of ocean dried, of his broad floods from side to side, or helpless as the dying fire hushed his last words of righteous ire. Then Rama, with his spirit moved, the banner king in turn reproved. Why dost thou, Bali, thus revile, and castest not a glance the while on claims of duty, love, and gain, and customs over the world that reign? Why dost thou blame me, rash and blind, fickle as all thy banner kind, slighting each rule of ancient days, which all the good and prudent praise? This land, each hill and woody chase, belongs to old Ikshaku's race. With bird and beast and man, the whole is ours to cherish and control. Now Bharat, prompt at duty's call, wise, just, and true, is lord of all. Each claim of law, love, gain he knows, and wrath and favour duly shows. A king from truth who never bends, and grace with vigour wisely blends. With valour worthy of his race, he knows the claims of time and place. Now we and other kings of might, by his ensemble taught aright, the lands of every region tread, that justice may increase and spread. While royal Bharat, wise and just, rules the broad earth his glorious trust, who shall attempt, while he is lord, a deed by justice held avowed? We now, as Bharat has decreed, let justice guide our every deed, and toil each sinner to repress, who scorns the way of righteousness. Thou from that path hast turned aside, and virtue's holy law defiled, left the fair path which kings should tread, and followed pleasure's voice instead. The man who cleaves to duty's law regards these three with filial awe. The sire, the elder brother, third, him from whose lips his law he heard. Thus too, for duty's sake, the wise regard with fond paternal eyes the well-loved younger brother, one their law has ripened, and his son. Fine are the laws which guide the good, abstruse and hardly understood. Only the soul enthroned within the breast of each knows right from sin. But thou art wild and weak of soul, and sparnest, like thy race, control. The true and right thou canst not find, the blind consulting with the blind. Incline thine ear, and I will teach the cause that prompts my present speech. This tempest of thy soul assuage, nor blame me in thine idle rage. On this great sin thy thoughts bestow, the sin for which I lay thee low. Thou, Bali, in thy brother's life, hast robbed him of his wedded wife, and keepest, scorning ancient right, his rumour for thine own delight. Thy son's own wife should scarcely be more sacred in thine eyes than she. All duty thou hast scorned, and hence comes punishment for dire offence. For those who blindly do amiss, there is, I ween, no way but this: to check the rash who dare to stray from customs which the good obey. I may not, sprung of Kshatriya line, forgive this heinous sin of thine. The laws for those who sin like thee the penalty of death decree. Now Bharat rules with sovereign sway, and we his royal word obey. There was no hope of pardon, none, for the vile deed that thou hast done. That wisest monarch dooms to die the wretch whose crimes the law defy, and we, chastising those who err, his righteous doom administer. My soul accounts Sugriva dear, even as my brother Lakshman here. He brings me blessing, and I swore his wife and kingdom to restore. A bond in solemn honour bound, when bannered chieftains stood around. And can a king like me forsake his friend and plighted promise break? Reflect, O banner, on the cause, the sanction of eternal laws, and, justly smitten down, confess thou diest for thy wickedness. My honour was I bound to lend assistance to a faithful friend, and thou hast met a righteous fate, thy former sins to expiate. And thus wilt thou some merit win, and make atonement for thy sin. For hear me, Banner King, rehearse what Manu spake in ancient verse. This holy law which all accept, who honour duty, have I kept. Pure grow the sinners King chastise, and like the virtuous gain the skies. By paying of full atonement freed, they reap the fruit of righteous deed. While kings who punish not incur the penalties of those who err. Mandata once, a noble king, light of the line from which I spring, punished with death a devotee when he had stopped to sin like thee. And many a king in ancient time has punished frantic sinners' crime, and, when their impious blood was spilled, has washed away the stain of guilt. Cease, Bali, cease, no more complain, reproaches and laments are vain. For thou art justly punished, we obey our king and are not free. Once more, O Bali, lend thine ear, another weightiest plea to hear. For this, when heard and pondered well, will all complaint and rage dispel. My soul will never this deed repent, nor was my shaft in anger sent. We take the sylvan tribes beset with snare and trap and gin and net, and many a heedless deer we smite from thickest shade, concealed from sight. Wild for the slaughter of the game, at stately stags our shafts we aim. We strike them bounding scared away, we strike them as they stand at bay. When careless in the shade they lie, or scan the plain with watchful eye. They turn away their heads, we aim, and none the eager hunter blame. Each royal saint, well trained in law of duty, loves his bow to draw, and strike the quarry, even as thou hast fallen by mine arrow now. Fighting with him or unaware, a banner thou, I little care. But yet, O best of banners, know that kings who rule the earth bestow fruit of pure life and virtuous deed, and lofty duties hard-won meed. Harm not thy lord the king, abstain from act and word that cause him pain, for kings are children of the skies, who walk this art in man's disguise. But thou, in duty's claims untaught, thy breast with blinding passion fraught, assailest me, who still have clung to duty with thy bitter tongue. He ceased, and Bali, sore distressed, the sovereign claims of law confessed, and freed, overwhelmed with woe and shame, the lord of Raghu's race from blame. Then, reverent palm to palm applied, to Rama thus the banner cried, True, best of man, is every word that from thy lips these ears have heard. It ill beseems a wretch like me to bend the empty words at thee. Forgive the angry taunts that broke from my wild bosom as I spoke, and lay not to my charge, O king, my mad reproaches' idle sting. Thou in the truth by trial trained, best knowledge of the right hast gained, and layest, just and pure within, the meetest penalty on sin. Through every bond of law I burst, the boldest sinner and the worst. O let thy right instructing speech console my heart and wisely teach. Like some sad elephant who stands fast sinking in the treacherous sands, thus Bali raised despairing eyes, then spake again with sobs and sighs. Not for myself, O king, I grieve, for Tara or the friends I leave, as for sweet Angad, my dear son, my noble, only little one. For nursed in luxury and bliss, his father he will mourn and miss, and like a stream whose fount is dry, will waste away and sink and die. My own dear child, my only boy, his mother Tara's hope and joy. Spare him, O son of Raghu, spare the child entrusted to thy care. My Angad and Sugriva treat, even as thy heart considers meet. For thou, O chief of man, art strong to guard the right and punish wrong. Oh, if thou wilt thine ear incline to hear these dying words of mine, he and Sugriva will to thee as Bharat and as Lakshman be. Let not my Tara, left forlorn, weep for Sugriva's wrathful scorn, nor let him, for her lord's offence, condemn her faithful innocence. And well and wisely may he reign, if thy dear grace his power sustain. If following thee his friend and guide, he turn not from thy hest aside. Thus may he reign with glory, nay, thus to the skies will win his way. Though stayed by Tara's fond recall, by thy dear hand I long to fall. Against my brother rushed and fought, and gained the death I long have sought. Then Rama thus the prince consoled, from whose clear eyes the mists were rolled. Grieve not for those thou leavest thus, nor tremble for thyself or us. For we will deal with thine and thee, as duty and the laws decree. He who ejects and he who pays is justly slain or justly slays, shall in the life to come have bliss, for each has done his task in this. Thou, wandering from the right, art made pure by the forfeit thou hast paid. Thy weight of sins is cast aside, and duty's claim is satisfied. Then grieve no more, O prince, but clear thy bosom from all doubt and fear. for fate inexorably stern, thou hast no power to move or turn. Thy princely Angad still will share my tender love, Sugriva's care, and to thy offspring shall be shown affection that shall match thine own. End of Cantos 16, 17 and 18.